Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Sherrone Moore, this Michigan program rolling on the recruiting trail, landing another commitment. This one coming from four-star safety Kainoa Winston from Washington, D.C. And where you want to start with Kainoa Winston and the Michigan fans that have been rocking with the fellas, you guys know how I feel about this kid. Not only a very good football player, top 50 national prospect for a reason, but I think more importantly, he fits exactly what Michigan wants to do on the defensive side of the football. And you look at what Michigan's done on the recruiting trail. This is something we talk a lot about. Yes, Michigan is going to get elite players from the high school level, but I think more importantly, there is a strong emphasis over the last couple of years at grabbing guys from the high school ranks that fit what Michigan want to do from a schematic standpoint. You look at Kainoa Winston and the versatility that he's going to give this Michigan defense in the back end. That's exactly what Coach Wink Martindale, Lamar Morgan are looking for, fired up to get into the film, talk about what he brings to this Michigan defense. Before we do, and as always, just want to say thank you to you guys and specifically to the Michigan fans, breaking down these commitments from the high school class, breaking down the commitments from the transfer portal. I've had a blast doing it. You guys know I'm a massive Michigan fan. The amount of support, the Go Blues that you guys throw in the comment section, that means the absolute world. If you guys do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Going to be a very busy next couple of weeks for Michigan on the recruiting trail. And without further ado, let's get into Kainoa Winston. And let's first talk about just the physical traits that this kid brings to the Michigan defense, right? 5'10", 185, maybe a little bit of a smaller frame for a safety, but 185 pounds, this kid is absolutely put together. In what he might lack in terms of height and frame, he more than makes up for in terms of the physicality in which he plays with, but also the speed and range, the amount of turf that he can cover on a football field. You get into Kainoa Winston, runs a 10.6 in the 100-meter dash, holds the high school record at Gonzaga for the 200-meter dash. You were talking about one of the most accomplished track and field athletes in this 2025 cycle, and that certainly shows up on the film. You look at Kainoa Winston and where he might play for Michigan. I see three different positions that Kainoa Winston could really have some success with. One, playing that free safety role in terms of the speed and the amount of ground that he can cover. You can throw him in that single high safety spot, have him be responsible for a lot of ground because he has that speed. You can play him as a box safety. Again, this kid is put together, plays with elite physicality, coming downhill against the line of scrimmage. I think he also could play that nickel role. And I think one of the things that fits exactly what Michigan wants to do is how well he tackles. You look last year, Mikey Sandstrill, Rod Moore, Makari Page, what made Michigan so good on the defensive side of the football? Some of those second-level defenders, they just came downhill, routinely made tackles. Kainoa Winston is, kind of one of those guys. So he gives you a ton of versatility. You think back to how many different ways we use guys like Rod Moore, Makari Page, whether they're box safeties, whether they're carrying tight ends up the seam, whether they're playing the free safety role. Kainoa Winston can come in and kind of play all those variety of roles as well. And you look at what Wink Martindale wants to do in terms of the amount of different looks and schemes that he wants to play. Having guys that can be successful doing multiple different things is absolutely massive. And Kainoa Winston certainly brings that to the table. Getting into the film, again, one of the more fun film studies to watch. I was hoping he commits to Michigan, one, because I'm a Michigan fan. More importantly, I just wanted to get into this kid's film. Right here, you're seeing him play kind of that two-eye safety look, and you get a sense of, one, the instincts, two, the amount of ground he can cover. I mean, working to the boundary really, really well when that football is in the air, going out, making a play. And then on the return, you get a chance to see a little bit of the juice that this kid has in terms of space. Something else that really stands out as well is what he can do on special teams in terms of blocking punts, blocking kicks. You talk about making those game-changing plays that Michigan always seemed to make in 2024 or 2023, Kainoa Winston can do that. I mean, this is a guy that has elite twitch off the line of scrimmage. I believe I counted, we're going to see 4 different blocks, whether it's punts, whether it's kicks. These are type of plays that if you can make them are going to win you football games. And I think Kainoa Winston can routinely make these kind of plays for Michigan. 4 kicks that we just saw get blocked, 2 punts, 2 kicks. I think that is an extremely impressive asset. Take a look at what he does in the back end. Again, covers so much ground, comes downhill routinely, is really physical at the point of attack. This kid he's a heat-seeking missile, for lack of better terms. Again, working downhill. This is something that the safeties for Michigan did exceptionally well in the 2023 season. Kainoa Winston can do that too. Not only does he work downhill very well, not only is he really physical at the point of attack, he's also a guy that picks through traffic tremendously well. He's really disciplined with his angles. He's really disciplined with his run fits. And that is something really, really important. You look at that safety spot, you have to have the ability to be disciplined coming downhill, because if you take a bad angle, you miss a tackle, that play that went for 10 yards is going 60 yards to the house. Kainoa Winston doesn't miss those kind of plays. Getting a sense of what he can do in the back end, again, coming downhill, fitting running backs. Kid's a heat-seeking missile. And again, that is something that no doubt Lamar Morgan, Wink Martindale absolutely love on the film. Take a look at him playing kind of that too high safety look, playing the ball, breaking on the football, a guy that can be a ball-hawking safety in the back end, a safety that can come up into the box and be a asset and run support, again, triggering downhill, making plays routinely, stripping the football, just an absolute playmaker, heat-seeking missile. I think this kid's a perfect fit for Michigan. And you take a look at what Michigan's doing in the 2025 class. This is their 7th commitment in the 2025 cycle, really starting to kind of pick up those 4-star prospects. But I think more importantly, you look at Michigan, you look at what they value and what they want to kind of make the identity of this program. That's exactly what you're seeing in the 2025 cycle, right? 2 of our top commits right now are defensive linemen, both of which are extremely versatile, can play inside, can play outside. You look at the offensive line, you have a guy like Avery Cock already kind of committed, a guy that we really, really like, whether he's playing guard or tackle. Bobby Conka, Carter Smith. I mean, Michigan is prioritizing the position groups that have had led to this much success that Michigan's had the last couple of years. You add a guy like Kainoa Winston in, who, again, just fits exactly what Michigan wants to do on the defensive side of the football. It sounds like Michigan is really starting to turn it up on the recruiting trail. We've talked extensively about the amount of resources that Sherrone Moore is putting into recruiting and getting top talent to come to Ann Arbor. We are seeing the benefits of that play out. And yes, a late start for Michigan. It certainly makes sense, as they had to kind of overhaul that coaching staff. What you're seeing in the summer months is this new coaching staff really dig into the 2025 class, build those relationships, and get guys committed to Michigan. Another massive commitment for this Michigan program. Damn good football player, fits Michigan and what they want to do. Fired up about this one. We'll cut it there. Appreciate you guys rocking with the fellas. Again, if y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to y'all later.